Yo, I want to talk about the pros and cons of Marvel Snap. During these introductions, I always feel an urge to talk about why I'm covering a topic or explain my perspective and give context. But as this game is all about being snappy, get it? I thought, no, I'm going to go against my usual nature and make a video that cuts straight to the chase. No tangents, no sidetracks, just bullet point with zero explanation needed, and then move on to the next bullet point. So here we go, nice and quick. Bullet point 1. Pro. It's free. Wait, is that an asterisk? Oh, okay. Alright, I'll do a short explanation for that one, but let's fill in the rest of the bullet points first. Okay, like Quicksilver, I'm going to be fast, and like the Juggernaut, I'm not stopping. Con number 1. It's free. Well, what does that mean? Oh, okay, I guess I'll explain that at the same time. Moving on, pro number 2. Skill's not a requirement to play. Okay, yeah, anyone can play and enjoy it, no explanation needed. Perfect. Con number 2. Skill is not a requirement to play. Okay. Oh, it's already going to be like that, huh? Alright, fine. Pro number 3. Constant updates and new cards. Right, I think I see where this is going. Con number 3. Constant updates and new cards. Yeah, okay. Well, sure. Alright, at least that's it. 3 points on each side. I'm going to have to explain them, but it shouldn't take too long. And wait. What the? I didn't know I could do that. But does that mean... Oh no. Con number 4? Limited art variants. Con number 5? The sound of the UI. Feels a bit nitpicky. I said I wasn't going to explain it, but... Alright, okay, fine. Bullet point 1. It's free. Marvel Snap is a 1v1 digital card game available to download at no cost on Android, Windows, iOS and macOS. There's a load of cards available, featuring all the Marvel characters you'd expect, and quite a few that you might not. All areas of Marvel are represented, so whether you're a fan of the films, the comics, or whatever, there'll be something you recognise. And best of all, from what I can tell with my time, every single card is available to unlock for free. No cards are paywalled off, you just have to unlock them. However, all the typical free-to-play mobile game trappings are here. Multiple currencies, microtransactions, loot boxes, daily missions, weekly challenges, a storefront with alternative cosmetics, daily login bonuses, time savers, timed exclusives, an album manager which incentivizes collecting them all, and of course, a premium paid battle pass. Now on the bright side, none of this is a requirement, you can just unlock new cards by playing, but that takes a long time by design. If you're perhaps neurodivergent or susceptible to marketing, or have problems with gambling or collectibles in some way, then some of this stuff is really gross. I mean, look at this. £66 for the Jeff Deckel variant of Black Bolt? Fuck all the way off. And worse, I said you unlock cards by playing, which is true, but that's done via random loot box. You don't get to pick which card you unlock next. So if you really wanted a card but haven't randomly unlocked it yet, then these high-priced timed variants might suddenly seem like a much more tempting way to get the card that you're after, for a price. It's even the case for the alternative arts of cards that you already own. See this magic variant by Jim Lee? See that little symbol on the side? Well, that means that if I bought it, it would go towards completing my Jim Lee art variant collection. But uh-oh, she's 1,200 gold, and I don't have that much. So how much would I need to spend to get her? Oh, $9.99. Well, at least it's only once and... Oh, well, okay, I guess that would be another $9.99. And how many are there in the collection? And, oh, yeah, those $9.99s are soon going to rack up, huh? Bullet point number 2. Skill is not a requirement to play. Marvel Snap is a quick game, only really taking 5 to 10 minutes a match. The cards are all self-explanatory enough, and the game does the heavy lifting of working out card mechanics and keeping score for you. A match consists of 6 rounds, where each player places cards from their 12-card deck into one of 3 lanes, hoping to control at least 2 of the lanes at the end of the match by having the highest power cards there. For those that don't want to build their own deck, there is an auto-build feature, which is really nice, but otherwise you're free to build any kind of deck that you like using any of the cards. The game does offer some gentle guidance for deck building in the form of its recommended ability keywords, and cards are designed in such a way that it's obvious in which kind of deck the game wants you to play them. For instance, while Morbius here doesn't discard cards on his own, he does get +2 power for each card you've discarded, so probably wants to go into a discard deck. And that's where we find the problem. There's only really 6 different kinds of deck, 4 if you want one that'll actually win matches, and some cards are just better in those decks than others, so you're gonna see them over and over and over again. Let's do a test. I'm going to show you 3 cards, but I won't tell you their mechanics. If you've played the game, leave a comment below what deck you think they belong in. I bet you're going to get it right, because you'll have seen them 1,000 times before. I often know on turn 1 what deck someone is playing and how they're going to end it based on the first card they play. First turn Nova, it's a destroy deck and they'll end it with Death and Null. First turn Blade, it's a discard deck and they'll end it with Dracula or Apocalypse. First turn Agent 13, it's an add deck and they'll end it with the Collector and Devil Dinosaur, and then they'll lose because that's not one of the 4 good decks. The 3 lanes do have random locations with their own rules which affect gameplay and change each match, so no 2 games are ever exactly the same, even if you're basically always playing the same few decks. I'm going to do a separate video on those locations at some point because they're their own can of worms, but even with the added random element from locations, the format has been solved. The meta is completed at the point of creation. You're either playing one of the few good decks that the designers intended, or you're losing most of your matches. Which leads us nicely to bullet point the 3rd, constant updates and new cards. I'll keep this brief, but in short the game is always changing. The positive is that, hey, there's always shiny new cards coming out featuring new characters that you may want to collect. I said the format has been solved, which is true, but new cards with new mechanics can at least change how it's solved, keeping it somewhat fresh. Maybe a new card disrupts a powerful deck by giving other players a tool against it, or maybe they give support to a weaker deck to make it more powerful and consistent. They may even create entirely new kinds of deck that haven't been seen before. Take old Sebastian Shaw here. At the time of recording, he's new to the game, and has the mechanic that whenever he gains power, he gains that much power plus an additional 2. Maybe he could go into some sort of power-up deck that I've not seen before. Could be fun. So the format is solved, the solution is always changing. But where's the issue? Well, A, if you haven't randomly unlocked Sebastian Shaw yet, you just don't get to play that new deck, unless you want to spend some money on the Battle Pass, of course. B, the format is solved. There's only 12 cards in a deck. You can't just play the cards that you like and win. You have to play the cards optimized for how the designers intended that deck to play. The game is being designed with only a limited number of deck archetypes in mind. And C, worst of all, I've only talked about the new cards so far. They are constantly making changes to existing cards, so you might log in one day and find a deck now plays entirely different than how it used to. Let me walk you through what happened to me recently. I boot up the game and I play my favourite deck, which uses cards like Hazmat to reduce the power of every card in play. But then I put down Luke Cage, who has an ability to prevent my cards from losing power. Which means that all of the power reduction I've been doing is only happening to my opponent. But uh-oh, it's not working. Upon seeing the official patch notes, link in the description, I discover they've changed Luke Cage, so instead of protecting all of my cards, he only protects the ones in the same lane as him. A minor change, but one that entirely ruined my deck. It's unplayable now. Okay, so I move on to my second favourite deck, which revolves around drawing America Chavez on turn 6. And uh-oh, they've changed that too. And it's not even a small change, look at this. She was a 6-cost 9-power card that starts at the bottom of your deck and is drawn on turn 6. She's now a 2-cost 3-power card who gives the top card of your deck plus 2 power when played. I mean, what the fuck? That's not a change, that's an entirely different card. It's not even similar in spirit to how it used to be. And that's my second deck that just doesn't function anymore. And to be honest, after that I took a break, I've stopped playing. I don't want to spend huge amounts of money or hours of my life trying to unlock different cards for new decks just to have them ripped away from me again. Ugh. Bullet point number 4. Limited art variants. Now I don't want to be overly negative, and to be honest, this isn't a major factor. It's just a matter of opinion. But man, does that storefront need some new art variants. I am so sick of seeing pixel versions, baby versions, or chibi versions of cards. Like, I don't know who Dan Hip is, and I'm glad he's getting work, but I have gone from indifference to his art to downright disliking it. Due to just how goddamn often it's the only option in the store. There are days when 8 out of the 9 cards available are pixel, baby, chibi, or Dan Hips. And that's not even counting the store takeovers where you'll only get to see a single art style exclusively for days at a time. And I never see people playing them, so I can't be the only one. Your tastes may differ, but familiarity breeds contempt, and I am just so sick of seeing these. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying the art is bad, I'm just saying I want to see something more. And as grievances go, it's really minor, but it isn't as petty as this next one. Con number 5, the sound of the UI. Or, more specifically, that tapping sound effect the UI makes every time you click through your cards. What's that about? I feel like I'm in the Telltale Heart. The rest of the sound design is really good, but I can't scroll through my cards without constantly hearing a tap tap tap. And you can't turn it off. No, you have to mute the whole game. It drives me crazy, it makes me want to strangle someone. But after all that, do I recommend Marvel Snap? Yes, actually, the game's really good. It doesn't really feel like a Marvel game, the characters are pretty disconnected from what their cards actually do, but it's fun, it doesn't take a massive amount of time, and as long as you're not susceptible to excessive monetization, then it's free. Parents, you may want to keep an eye on what your kids are spending if you let them play. But it is a lot of fun and I would wholeheartedly recommend it. I've spent hours at a time playing it, and when you just manage to pull off that perfect combo and get your deck to do exactly what you wanted it to do, it is incredibly satisfying. If you like this sort of thing, give it a try, it is a lot of fun. But what do you think? Have you played it? What's your favourite deck? Are you annoyed enough about the change to America Chavez to make a YouTube video about it like me? Does anyone else get driven mad by the tapping sound of a phone? Let me know in the comments below. And if you do decide to download the game, well then hey, maybe I'm going to see you in a match. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page, where you can get your name credited on screen too. Check it out in the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, install an ad block, most importantly, subscribe and share this video with a friend. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, if you want to see me make a video on another subject, just let me know, and I'm going to see you next time.